The kitchen window was open. That's the only reason Simone heard it. If Patricia had closed that window, if the spring breeze hadn't been so perfect that afternoon, Simone would still be living in her fool's paradise. But the window was open, and Patricia's voice carried clear as a bell across the garden. Oh honey, she has absolutely no idea. Simone froze on the walkway, her hand still on the gate. She'd stopped by to drop off some papers for Derek's father's estate. Simple errand. In and out. But something in Patricia's tone made her stop. I know. 8 months is a long time to keep a secret. Patricia laughed. It was a sound Simone had heard 100 times at family dinners, at birthday parties, at Christmas. But this laugh was different. Cruel. But that stupid girl trusts you completely. She actually believes you're working late all those nights. Simone's stomach dropped. She moved closer to the window, staying hidden behind the bushes. Gabriella is lovely, Derek. Much more sophisticated than Simone. I had lunch with her last week, did I tell you? She's absolutely perfect for you. So elegant. Patricia paused, listening. No, of course I covered for you. I told Simone you were helping me with my taxes that night. She bought it completely. The papers in Simone's hand crumpled. Her breathing got shallow. You should see her, Derek. She's like a little puppy dog, so grateful every time you come home. She made your favorite dinner last night, didn't she? And you sat there eating it, probably thinking about Gabriella the whole time. Patricia's laugh again. That awful sound. I raised you right, son. You know how to play the game. Simone felt her knees get weak. She grabbed the fence to steady herself. The best part? She loves me. She calls me mom. She brings me flowers. She actually thanked me last week for raising such a wonderful man. Patricia's voice dripped with satisfaction. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remember she's just so basic. You deserve better. Gabriella has class. Education. She understands your world. There was a pause as Patricia listened to Derek on the other end. Yes, I'll cover for you next Tuesday. Tell Simone you're driving me to my doctor's appointment. I'll even call her to confirm it. Another pause. Oh, stop it, you're not a bad person. You're just taking what you deserve. Simone should have tried harder to keep you interested. A wife needs to make effort. She got too comfortable. Simone's hands were shaking so hard she almost dropped her phone. She wanted to record this. She needed to record this. But she couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. I know you love her in your way, Derek. But love isn't always enough. Sometimes you need passion. Excitement. Gabriella gives you that. Patricia's voice softened with fake sympathy. And honestly, Simone will be fine. Women like her always land on their feet. She'll probably find some boring accountant to marry and have boring babies with. You're doing her a favor, really? Letting her live in ignorance a bit longer before you eventually leave her for someone better. The words hit like physical blows. Women like her. Boring. Basic. Stupid girl. Oh, I need to go. I see the gardener pulling up. Yes, say hello to Gabriella for me. Tell her I'll take her to that new boutique next week. We'll make a day of it. Pause. I love you too, sweetheart. And don't worry about Simone. She's clueless. We're perfectly safe. The call ended. Simone heard Patricia's footsteps moving away from the window, humming some cheerful tune. Simone backed away slowly, careful not to make a sound. She walked to her car like a zombie. She got in. She sat there. The papers for the estate were still in her hand, wrinkled now. She was supposed to leave them in the mailbox. She started the car instead. 8 months. Patricia had said 8 months. Simone counted backward in her head. That was right after their 4th anniversary. Right after Derek gave her that beautiful bracelet and told her she was his forever. Right after they talked about starting to try for a baby. While she'd been taking vitamins and tracking her cycle, her husband had been sleeping with Gabriella from his office. While she'd been planning their future, her mother-in-law had been having lunch with her replacement. While she'd been calling Patricia Mom and buying her thoughtful gifts, Patricia had been calling her stupid, basic, a boring girl who should have tried harder. Simone drove home on autopilot. She pulled into the driveway of the house she shared with Derek. The house she'd helped decorate. The house where she'd felt safe and loved and cherished. All lies. She walked inside and the silence was crushing. She looked around at their life together. The photos on the walls. The throw pillows she'd picked out. The coffee maker they'd gotten as a wedding gift. Everything looked the same, but everything was different. Her phone buzzed. A text from Derek. Working late tonight, baby. Don't wait up. Love you. Simone stared at that text for a long time. Love you. 2 words that meant nothing now. 2 words he probably texted Gabriella too. 2 words his mother had mocked her for believing. She opened her messages and started to type back. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She wanted to type, "I know about Gabriella. I know your mother has been helping you. I know everything." But she didn't. Instead she typed, "Okay honey, I'll save you a plate. Love you too." She sent it. She put her phone down. She walked to the bedroom and lay down on the bed. And then Simone Harper made a decision. She wasn't going to cry. She wasn't going to scream. She wasn't going to confront them. She was going to destroy them. But first she needed a plan. And plans required a clear head and perfect execution. She got up, washed her face and opened her laptop. She had work to do. Derek came home at 10:30. Simone was in the kitchen cleaning up. She'd made spaghetti his favorite. She'd eaten alone, but she'd set out a nice plate for him like she always did. "Hey beautiful." He kissed her cheek. He smelled like cologne. Not his usual cologne. Something different. Probably Gabriella's preference. "Hi honey. How was work?" Simone smiled. The smile felt like plastic on her face, but Derek didn't notice. He never noticed. "Exhausting. Johnson is writing everyone about the quarterly reports." Derek loosened his tie and sat at the table. "This looks amazing. You're the best." "The best?" Simone wanted to laugh. If she was the best, why was Gabriella in the picture? "Your mom called earlier," Simone said, watching his face carefully. "She wants us to come to dinner Sunday." Derek's expression didn't change. "Sure, sounds good. You know mom loves seeing you. Loves seeing you. Loves mocking you. Loves lying to you." "She's so sweet," Simone said. "I'm lucky to have her." "She feels the same way about you." Derek ate his spaghetti, scrolling through his phone. "She always tells me I married up." The lies came so easy to him. Simone wondered if he even remembered what was true anymore. After dinner, Derek took a shower. Simone waited until she heard the water running, then she picked up his phone. She knew his password. It was her birthday. How romantic. She opened his messages and there it was. Gabriella's name. Dozens of messages today alone. "Miss you already. Can't wait for Tuesday. Your place or mine. Your mom is hilarious. We had such a good time at lunch. I'm wearing that red dress you like. Come over." Simone took photos of everything with her own phone. Every message. Every photo. There were pictures of Gabriella. She was pretty in a sharp kind of way. Thin. Polished. Everything Patricia had said. Sophisticated. Classy. Simone looked at her own reflection in the dark phone screen. She was beautiful too. She knew that. But clearly she wasn't enough. She wasn't whatever Derek and Patricia thought she should be. Fine. She kept scrolling. She found messages between Derek and his mother. Just from today while Simone had been standing outside that window. "Patricia, call went well." She suspected nothing. "Derek, you're the best mom." "Patricia, I know. Now go see your girl and forget about boring home life for a while." Boring home life. Simone took a photo of that too. She heard the shower turn off. She put Derek's phone back exactly where it was and went to the bedroom. When Derek came out, she was in bed reading. "Coming to bed?" he asked. "In a bit. Want to finish this chapter." He kissed her forehead. "Don't stay up too late." "I won't." He fell asleep in minutes. Simone watched him sleep. This man who had promised her forever. This man whose mother had helped him destroy their marriage. This man who was living a double life and sleeping peacefully while she suffered. She got up quietly and went to her home office. She locked the door and pulled out her laptop. First, she opened their joint bank account. She started going through statements from the past 8 months. There it was. Charges she'd never seen before because Derek always said he'd handle the finances. A jewelry store. $500. That wasn't her jewelry. Hotel charges. Dinner at expensive restaurants on nights when Derek said he was working late. A charge at Victoria's Secret. She'd never gotten anything from Victoria's Secret lately. She created a folder on her computer called Garden Plans and saved screenshots of everything. Next, she Googled divorce lawyers in the city. She read reviews. She made notes. She found one who specialized in cases with infidelity and financial misconduct. Mr. Bernard Lewis. His reviews said he was aggressive and thorough. Perfect. Then she opened a new browser and started researching Gabriella Torres. Social media was a beautiful thing. Gabriella's Instagram was public. There she was at fancy restaurants, wearing expensive jewelry, carrying designer bags. All funded by Derek. All funded by money that was supposed to be for their future. For the house they'd talked about buying. For the kids they'd talked about having. Simone saved everything. She looked at the clock. 2 in the morning. She needed to call Rhonda. Her best friend would still be up. Rhonda was a night owl who worked in tech and kept crazy hours. She sent a text. You up? Need to talk. Emergency. Her phone rang 30 seconds later. What happened? Rhonda's voice was alert. Derek is cheating on me with a woman from his office. His mother has been helping him hide it for 8 months. Silence. Then, I'm coming over. No. Derek is here. I'm pretending everything is fine. Simone, what? Why? Because I'm not going to just cry and leave, Rhonda. I'm going to make them pay for this. But I need time. I need evidence. I need a plan. More silence. Then Rhonda said slowly, okay. Tell me what you need. Simone smiled. It was the first real smile since she'd heard Patricia's voice through that window. Everything, she said. I need everything. They talked for an hour. Rhonda, bless her, was practical. She worked in cybersecurity and knew how to document everything, how to protect information, how to cover tracks. Open a separate bank account tomorrow, Rhonda said. Start moving money carefully. Not too much at once. Just enough to protect yourself. And back up everything to a cloud drive he doesn't know about. Already planning on it? Are you sure you want to do this? The revenge thing? Rhonda asked gently. You could just leave. File for divorce. Move on. Simone thought about Patricia's laugh. Thought about stupid girl, and boring and basic. Thought about Derek kissing her forehead while planning to see Gabriella. Thought about 8 months of lies. I'm sure, she said. Then I'm with you. Whatever you need. After they hung up, Simone sat in the dark for a while. She wasn't the same woman who'd walked up to Patricia's house yesterday afternoon. That woman was trusting. Naive. That woman believed in love and family and loyalty. This woman knew better. This woman was going to make sure Derek and Patricia regretted every lie, every betrayal, every cruel word. But first she had to keep playing the part. The loving wife, the devoted daughter-in-law, the woman too stupid to see what was happening right in front of her. She could do that. She could smile and cook and pretend. Because every smile was hiding her real work. Every kind word was covering her true intentions. They thought she was weak. They thought she was boring. They thought she'd never figure it out. They were going to learn exactly how wrong they were. Simone went back to bed. Derek was snoring softly. She lay next to him, not touching him, and stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. Tomorrow the real work would begin. Mr. Bernard Lewis had kind eyes but a firm handshake. His office was downtown, all dark wood and law books. Simone sat across from him, her hands folded in her lap, looking every bit the betrayed wife. Which she was. But she was also calculating. Tell me everything, Mr. Lewis said. Simone did. She showed him the bank statements. The text she'd photographed. The timeline of the affair. Patricia's involvement. Everything. Mr. Lewis took notes, his expression growing more serious. This is extensive documentation. You've done good work here. I needed to be sure before I came to you. Smart. He leaned back. Here's what we're looking at. The affair itself isn't illegal, but the financial aspect is concerning. If he's been using joint funds for this relationship without your knowledge or consent, that's marital waste. We can use that. What about his mother's involvement? It's morally reprehensible, but legally it doesn't change much. However, it shows pattern and intent to deceive. That helps our case. Mr. Lewis pulled out a form. The good news is you've been married less than 5 years. No children. You have your own income. This should be relatively straightforward. How long will it take? If he doesn't contest it, a few months. If he fights, could be 6 months to a year. Simone nodded. What do I need to do? Continue documenting everything. Don't confront him yet. Don't tell him you know. Open a separate account and secure your own funds. Make copies of all financial documents. And consider hiring a private investigator. Photos and videos are powerful evidence. Already planned on it? Mr. Lewis smiled slightly. You're very organized about this. I have to be. They think I'm stupid. I'm going to show them exactly how smart I am. After the meeting, Simone went to a different bank across town. She opened an account in just her name. She transferred $3,000 from their joint savings. Not enough for Derek to notice immediately, but enough to start her safety net. Then she met with the private investigator Mr. Lewis had recommended. His name was James Chin. He was a former cop, all business. She showed him photos of Derek and Gabriella. Gave him their addresses. Their work schedules. Everything she knew. I need proof, she told him. Photos, videos, dates and times. Everything that will hold up in court. You'll have it, James said. Give me 2 weeks. I'll give you 1 month. I want it to be thorough. Over the next weeks, Simone became two people. During the day she was the same Simone. She went to work at her marketing firm. She had lunch with Rhonda. She smiled at clients. She gave presentations. Her boss even commented on how well she was doing lately. You seem really focused, he said. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. If he only knew. At night she was someone else. She came home and cooked dinner. She kissed Derek when he came home late. She made conversation with Patricia on the phone. She went to Sunday dinners and laughed at Patricia's jokes. She helped Patricia plan a charity event. She was the perfect daughter-in-law. And all the while she was documenting everything. She found more charges on their credit cards. A weekend trip to a beach resort. Derek had told her he was at a conference. The charges showed room service for 2. Champagne. Couples massage. She found receipts in Derek's car. Jewelry. Flowers. Never for her. She found a second phone hidden in his gym bag. A cheap prepaid phone just for talking to Gabriella. She didn't take it. She just noted its existence and took photos of the text messages. James the investigator called her 3 weeks in. I've got what you need, he said. And then some. They met at a coffee shop. He handed her a folder. Inside were photos of Derek and Gabriella. At restaurants. Going into hotels. Kissing in parking lots. Holding hands on the street. One photo showed them with Patricia at a brunch place. All 3 of them laughing together. One big happy family. Simone's hands shook looking at that photo. Her husband. Her mother-in-law. The other woman. All of them having brunch while Simone had been home alone that Sunday, thinking Derek was helping Patricia with yard work. There's video too, James said. I've got them entering hotel rooms. Time stamped. Dated. 3 times a week, regular as clockwork. Tuesday nights. Thursday afternoons. Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings. When Derek said he was at the gym. This is good work, Simone said quietly. I'm sorry, James said. I know this can't be easy to see. It's necessary. Simone closed the folder. What do I owe you? They settled payment. She added everything to her growing file. She now had bank records, text messages, photos, videos, and a timeline that proved everything. Any judge would see exactly what Derek had been doing. That night, Derek came home with flowers. For my beautiful wife, he said, handing her roses. Simone took them and smiled. What's the occasion? No occasion. Just wanted to remind you how much I love you. She put the flowers in water. They were beautiful. They were also probably similar to the flowers he bought Gabriella regularly. I love you too, she said, because that's what the old Simone would have said. Later, while Derek slept, she added flowers to her expenses list. 12 bouquets in 8 months. She'd received 3. That meant 9 had gone to Gabriella. At $30 per bouquet, that was $270 of their money spent on another woman. She added it to the total. So far, Derek had spent over $8,000 of their joint money on his affair. Money that was supposed to be for their future. Simone saved the file and backed it up to 3 different cloud drives. Then she started the next phase of her plan. She pulled up Derek's company website. She found the employee handbook. She read through it carefully. There it was. Section 4.7. Romantic relationships between employees must be disclosed to HR. Failure to disclose can result in termination, especially if the relationship creates conflicts of interest or hostile work environment. Derek hadn't disclosed. He was a senior financial consultant. Gabriella was in client services. They worked together. They definitely created a conflict of interest. Simone made notes. She would need this later. She also looked up Gabriella's social media again. Gabriella had posted a photo 2 days ago. Designer purse. Caption, treated myself. Except Simone had found the receipt. Derek had bought that purse. $300. Treated myself. The nerve. Simone kept a file on Gabriella too. Every post. Every caption. Every clue about her life. Knowledge was power, and Simone was gathering all the power she could. By the end of the month, she had everything she needed. She had proof of the affair. Proof of financial misconduct. Proof of Patricia's involvement. She had documented every lie, every charge, every secret meeting. She had enough to file for divorce tomorrow if she wanted. But she didn't want to. Not yet. Because divorce was just the legal end. Simone wanted more than that. She wanted Derek to lose more than just his wife. She wanted Patricia to feel the consequences of her actions. She wanted Gabriella to understand what she'd really gotten herself into. She wanted them all to hurt the way she'd hurt standing outside that kitchen window. And she had a plan for that too. She just needed a little more time. I got promoted, Simone told Derek over dinner. She'd made steak. His favorite. Everything was always his favorite lately. That's amazing, baby. Derek actually looked happy for her. Senior marketing director? Yes. 20% raise. Corner office. My own team. Simone smiled. It was genuine this time. This promotion was real and she'd earned it. I'm pretty excited. You should be. You deserve it. Derek raised his wine glass. To my brilliant wife. My wife. Except he'd been telling Gabriella she was his future. Simone had seen those texts too. Can't wait until I can make you my wife properly. As if Simone didn't exist. As if their marriage was just an obstacle to work around. She raised her glass. They toasted. She took a sip and thought about how this promotion changed everything. More money meant more independence. More security. More power. We should celebrate, Derek said. Maybe go to that new restaurant downtown? The French place. That would be nice. Simone knew he'd already taken Gabriella there. She'd seen the charge. But she smiled anyway. This weekend? Perfect. Except the weekend came and Derek had to work late on Saturday. Simone wasn't surprised. She'd seen his calendar. She knew Gabriella had the day off. She knew they were planning to meet. Fine. While Derek was with his mistress, Simone had her own plans. She met with Rhonda at a coffee shop across town. Rhonda had been busy too. I did some digging, Rhonda said, sliding a folder across the table. Gabriella Torres. 28. Works in client services at Derek's company. But here's the interesting part. She's done this before. Simone opened the folder. Inside were printouts from Gabriella's previous job. Social media posts from 2 years ago. Comments from former co-workers. She had an affair with her married boss at her last company, Rhonda explained. That's why she left. The wife found out and made a huge scene. HR got involved. Gabriella quit before she could be fired. So she's a repeat offender. Looks like it. She has a pattern. Go after successful married men. Get gifts and money. Move on when it gets messy. Simone studied the information. This was useful. This showed Derek wasn't special. He was just another target. Another wallet. There's more, Rhonda said. I found Gabriella's roommate on social media. Her name is Isabel. And Isabel doesn't seem to like Gabriella very much based on some vague posts. She might be willing to talk. How would we approach her? Rhonda grinned. Leave that to me. I'll reach out as someone concerned about a mutual friend. See what she says. A week later, Rhonda called with news. Isabel talked. Boy, did she talk. Rhonda sounded excited. Gabriella has been bragging about Derek. About how much money he spends on her. About how his mother approves of her. About how she's going to be the next Mrs. Harper as soon as Derek dumps his boring current wife. Simone's jaw tightened. Boring current wife. There was that word again. Isabel recorded one of their conversations. Rhonda continued. Gabriella was drunk and going on about how easy it is to manipulate married men. How they're so guilty they'll buy anything. How Derek is especially easy because his mother is on her side. Can we use that recording? Legally? We'd have to check. But morally? Absolutely. Simone added this to her growing file. Every piece of evidence was another nail in the coffin. She also started working on the next phase. She needed to talk to Derek's boss. But she needed to do it right. She couldn't just walk in and accuse Derek of misconduct. She needed to be smart about it. She spent days crafting an email. Professional. Concerned. Anonymous at first. To whom it may concern, I have information regarding employee conduct that may be in violation of company policy. 2 employees have been in an undisclosed romantic relationship that has resulted in preferential treatment and misuse of company resources. I'm willing to provide evidence if the company wishes to investigate. She sent it from a temporary email account. Then she waited. 3 days later, Derek came home stressed. HR wants to meet with me tomorrow, he said, loosening his tie. Some kind of routine audit of expense reports. Routine audit. Right. I'm sure it's nothing, Simone said. You're always careful with expenses. Except he wasn't. She'd seen the reports. Business dinners that were actually dates with Gabriella. Hotel rooms charged to the company card. Client meetings that were afternoon affairs. Derek nodded, but he looked worried. Good. While Derek dealt with work problems, Simone focused on Patricia. She'd been thinking about this for a while. How to make Patricia face consequences for her actions. Patricia was proud. She cared deeply about what people thought. She was active in her church community and several social clubs. She volunteered at charity events. Her reputation mattered to her. So Simone would use that. She started by having lunch with Derek's sister, Monica. Monica was kind and had always been friendly to Simone. They met at a nice cafe. "How's Derek doing?" Monica asked. "He seems stressed lately." "He's been working a lot," Simone said carefully. Then, as if it just occurred to her, "You know what's interesting? Your mom has been helping him so much with his schedule. She's really involved in his life." "That's Mom. She's always been protective of Derek." "Maybe too protective?" Simone laughed like it was a joke. "I'm kidding. It's sweet. Though sometimes I wonder if she'd tell me if something was wrong. If Derek was having problems or something." Monica looked uncomfortable. "Why would Derek have problems?" Simone shrugged. "No reason. Just, your mom sometimes treats me like I wouldn't understand things. Like I'm not really part of the family." "That's not true. Mom loves you." "Does she?" Simone wanted to ask. But instead she smiled. "You're right. I'm probably being silly." She planted the seed. Let Monica wonder. Let her watch her mother and brother more carefully. Over the next few weeks, Simone did similar things. Small comments. Gentle questions. Nothing obvious. Just enough to make people start noticing things. Start questioning things. She also started removing her stuff from the house. Slowly. Carefully. A box of photos here. Some jewelry there. Her grandmother's china. Important documents. Everything that mattered to her, she moved to a storage unit Derek didn't know about. She opened a second bank account and increased her transfers. She now had $15,000 saved separately. Enough to get her own apartment. Enough to survive while the divorce went through. She found an apartment she liked. Modern. Bright. All hers. She put down a deposit and signed a lease to start in 3 months. The landlord was flexible. She was building her exit. Piece by piece. Step by step. And Derek had no idea. He came home every night to a clean house and a smiling wife. He ate her cooking. He slept in their bed. He kissed her goodbye in the mornings. And all the while she was planning his destruction. One night, Patricia called. "Simone dear, I need to ask you something." "Of course, Mom. What is it?" "Did you mention anything to Monica about Derek having problems?" Simone's heart raced but her voice stayed calm. "Problems? No. Why?" "She asked me some strange questions the other day. About Derek's schedule. About how much time I spend with him." Patricia sounded suspicious. It was odd. "I have no idea what that's about," Simone lied smoothly. "Maybe she's just concerned. You know how Monica worries." Patricia seemed to accept this. But Simone could hear the doubt in her voice. Good. Let her worry. Let her wonder if her secrets were safe. Because they weren't. Nothing was safe anymore. Simone was coming for all of them. And when she was done, they'd wish they'd never underestimated the boring, stupid girl who trusted them. The apartment was perfect. Simone walked through it again, imagining her furniture there. Her books on those shelves. Her art on those walls. A space that was entirely hers with no memories of Derek. No lies soaked into the walls. "When can I move in?" she asked the landlord. 1st of November. 2 months. Perfect timing. That gave her exactly what she needed. Her promotion was official now. New business cards. New office with her name on the door. Her team reported to her. 23% raise actually. Better than she'd expected. "You've been on fire lately," her boss Robert said during their one-on-one. "Whatever's motivating you, keep it up." Revenge, she thought. Rage. The desire to prove everyone who underestimated me wrong. "Just focused on my goals," she said out loud. That weekend was another family dinner at Patricia's house. The whole Harper family was there. Derek's siblings. His father. His aunt and uncle. Everyone gathered around Patricia's dining table like they did once a month. Simone brought her famous apple pie. Everyone complimented it. Patricia hugged her and called her daughter. Derek's father said how lucky Derek was to have her. If only they knew. Simone watched Patricia closely. The woman was a good actress. She smiled at Simone. Complimented her dress. Asked about her new promotion. All while knowing exactly what her son was doing. All while having lunches with Gabriella. All while calling Simone stupid behind her back. "Simone, can you help me with the dishes?" Patricia asked after dinner. In the kitchen, just the two of them, Patricia said quietly, Derek seems distant lately. Have you noticed? Simone kept her face neutral. Does he? I hadn't noticed anything. He's been stressed about work. And he's been spending a lot of time away from home. Patricia's eyes searched Simone's face. I worry about you too. The audacity. The absolute audacity of this woman to stand here and pretend to care. We're fine, Simone said. Marriage always has ups and downs, right? Nothing to worry about. Patricia nodded slowly. Of course. I just want you both to be happy. Liar. 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 Simone smiled sweetly. You're such a good mother-in-law. Always looking out for us. That seemed to satisfy Patricia. But Simone saw something in her eyes. Suspicion. Like she was trying to figure something out. Good. Let her wonder. On Monday, Rhonda called with news. Derek's company started an investigation. They're looking into his expense reports and his relationship with Gabriella. How do you know? I have a friend who works in their HR department. She can't give me details, but she confirmed they're looking into it. Apparently, several people complained once the rumor started going around. What rumor? That Derek and Gabriella have been using company time and resources for personal activities. Someone saw them leaving a hotel during work hours. Someone else noticed the expensive gifts. It's getting messy. Simone felt a surge of satisfaction. Good. There's more. Gabriella is freaking out. Isabel says she's been crying and panicking. She thinks she's going to get fired. She probably will. And get this. Isabel told me that Gabriella has been borrowing money from Derek. Apparently, she has credit card debt and he's been paying it off. More of their money. More of the future they'd planned. Gone. Simone added this to her documentation. The number was over $12,000 now. $12,000 of their joint savings spent on another woman. That evening, Derek came home looking exhausted. Tough day? Simone asked. You have no idea. He slumped on the couch. Work is crazy right now. HR is doing this audit and they're questioning everything. Every expense. Every receipt. It's ridiculous. I'm sure it's just standard procedure. It doesn't feel standard. It feels like they're looking for something specific. He ran his hands through his hair. And Gabriella from client services is having the same issue. It's weird. Simone sat next to him playing the supportive wife. Maybe it's just bad timing. I'm sure it'll blow over. I hope so. He looked at her. At least I have you. You're the one stable thing in my life right now. The irony was almost funny. She was stable because she was planning to destroy him. Always, she said. The next day, Simone had lunch with Derek's sister Monica again. This time Monica seemed troubled. Can I ask you something? Monica said. And please be honest with me. Of course. Is everything okay with Derek? And with Mom? Simone's heart beat faster, but she kept her face confused. What do you mean? I don't know. Something feels off. Mom's been acting strange. Derek seems stressed. And when I try to talk to either of them, they brush me off. Monica hesitated. And you seem different too. Happier but in a weird way. Like you're hiding something. Simone thought carefully about her response. She could plant more seeds here. Make Monica even more suspicious. But she had to be careful. Honestly, Monica, I've just been focused on my career lately. The promotion has been great. As for Derek and your mom, I can't speak for them. Maybe you should ask them directly? I have. They say everything's fine. Then maybe everything is fine. Simone smiled. You might be reading too much into things. But she could see Monica wasn't convinced. Good. The family was starting to notice something was wrong. Starting to look more closely at Derek and Patricia. All according to plan. That night, Simone moved more items from the house. Her favorite books. Her yoga mats. Her good coffee maker. She told Derek she was donating things to charity. Spring cleaning. He didn't question it. She now had most of her important possessions in storage. The house was starting to feel empty of her, even though all the furniture was still there. It wasn't her home anymore. It was just a place she stayed while she executed her plan. She went to her new apartment after Derek fell asleep. Used her new key. Walked through the empty rooms. Soon this would be filled with her stuff. Her life. Her fresh start. No Derek. No lies. No betrayal. Just her. She took a photo standing in the empty living room. Sent it to Rhonda with the caption, "Soon." Rhonda replied immediately, "I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing. I haven't done anything yet. You've survived. You've planned. You've protected yourself. That's everything." Simone looked around her future home. Rhonda was right. She'd survived the worst news of her life and she hadn't fallen apart. She'd gotten stronger, smarter, more determined. The old Simone would have cried and begged Derek to stay, would have blamed herself, would have tried to be better, prettier, more interesting. This Simone knew the truth. It wasn't her fault. Nothing she could have done would have changed Derek's choices, or Patricia's betrayal, or Gabriella's greed. This was on them, all of them, and they were going to pay for it. She locked up her new apartment and drove back to the house. Derek was still asleep when she slipped into bed. She lay there in the dark, thinking about everything that was coming. Soon she'd execute the final phase of her plan. The part that would expose everything. The part that would make sure everyone knew exactly what Derek, Patricia, and Gabriella had done. She'd chosen the perfect venue, the perfect audience, the perfect moment. And when it was over, nothing would ever be the same. She smiled in the dark. 2 more months. She just had to hold on for 2 more months. Then the boring, stupid girl would show them all exactly what she was capable of. "I've been thinking," Simone said over breakfast one Saturday. "Our 5th anniversary is coming up in 3 months. Derek looked up from his phone. "Already? Time flies." "It does. And I was thinking we should do something special. Renew our vows maybe?" Derek's expression shifted. "Guilt probably." "Good. Renew our vows? That's a big thing, babe. We've been through a lot in 5 years. I just think it would be nice to reaffirm our commitment to each other." Simone smiled sweetly. "Don't you want to?" Hook, line, and sinker. Derek couldn't say no without looking suspicious. "Of course I do," he said. "That's actually a really nice idea." "Great. We could do a small ceremony. Invite family and friends. Nothing too big but meaningful." "Sure. Whatever you want." What she wanted was to destroy him. But he'd find that out soon enough. Over the next week, Simone threw herself into planning the vow renewal. She called Patricia. "Derek told me about the vow renewal," Patricia said. She sounded surprised. "That's very sweet of you. I just love your son so much, Mom. I want everyone to see how committed we are to each other." Every word tasted like ash. "Would you help me plan it?" "Of course, dear. I'd be honored." They met for lunch. Patricia suggested vendors, flowers, catering. She was actually being helpful. Probably because she thought this vow renewal meant Simone was still completely clueless. That she'd won. "We should invite Derek's colleagues too," Simone suggested casually. "Since we're both celebrating career successes this year." "That's a lovely idea. I'm sure his whole office would love to come." "Perfect. I'll have Derek send out the invitations to his work friends. Maybe you could help me with the family list." They spent 2 hours planning. Patricia was actually excited. She talked about what she'd wear, about how beautiful the ceremony would be, about how proud she was of Derek and Simone. Simone smiled and nodded and took notes. And inside she counted down the days. She booked a beautiful venue. A garden estate with a grand hall. She hired a photographer, a caterer. She rented chairs and tables. She made everything perfect. And she made sure there was a large projection screen at the front of the hall. For photos and videos, she told the venue coordinator, "I want to show a montage of our relationship." 2 weeks before the event, Derek asked, "Did you send the invitations to my office? I gave you the list to send out, remember? I thought you were handling your colleagues." "All right. I'll do that today." She knew he would. She knew he'd invite everyone, including Gabriella, because not inviting her would look suspicious. And Derek thought Simone was oblivious. He probably thought he could keep them separated at the event. Maybe sneak off to text Gabriella during the party. Poor Derek. He had no idea what was coming. Simone had spent 3 weeks putting together her presentation. It wasn't a montage of their happy memories. It was a timeline of his betrayal. She'd organized everything chronologically. The bank statements with highlighted charges. Screenshots of text messages with timestamps. Photos from the private investigator. The audio of Patricia's phone call. Everything. She'd set it to autoplay. Once it started, there'd be no stopping it. Rhonda helped her with the technical setup. They tested it 5 times to make sure everything would work perfectly. "Are you sure about this?" Rhonda asked. "It's going to be brutal." "I'm sure. They humiliated me for 8 months. Time to return the favor." "What if Derek tries to stop the video?" "He won't be able to. The AV system will be locked. Only I have the control." Simone smiled. "I've thought of everything." The final piece of the plan involved Derek's company. She'd been in contact with HR anonymously, providing evidence of Derek's misconduct. They'd confirmed they were investigating. She timed everything so that the results would come out right around the same time as her event. Everything was falling into place. 1 week before the event, Patricia called. "I'm so excited for next Saturday. This is going to be beautiful. I can't wait either, Mom. You know, Simone, I'm so glad Derek found you. You're exactly what he needs." A stupid, boring girl who won't notice when he's cheating? Simone thought. But out loud she said, "That means so much to me. You're the best mother-in-law I could ask for. We're family. Always. Until Saturday. Then they'd see how much family meant." Simone spent the last week moving the final items from the house. Her closet was noticeably emptier now, but Derek was too distracted to notice. He was stressed about the HR investigation. And probably stressed about having both his wife and his mistress at the same event. Good. Let him stress. Friday night, the day before the event, Derek tried to get romantic. "I know I haven't been the best husband lately," he said. "I've been so focused on work. But tomorrow, I want to show everyone how much I love you." Simone looked at him. Really looked at him. At this man she'd loved. This man who'd promised her forever. This man who'd destroyed their marriage and let his mother help him do it. "Tomorrow will definitely be memorable," she said. He kissed her. She let him. It would be the last time. That night, she lay awake long after he fell asleep. Tomorrow everything would change. Tomorrow everyone would know the truth. Tomorrow the boring, stupid girl would have her revenge. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't scared. She was ready. She'd spent months preparing for this. Months gathering evidence. Months playing the perfect wife while planning the perfect destruction. Tomorrow they'd all see what happened when you underestimated Simone Harper. Tomorrow they'd all learn that some women don't cry and beg. Some women plan. Some women fight back. Some women get even. She smiled in the dark and waited for morning. The venue looked perfect. White chairs arranged in neat rows. Flowers everywhere. The projection screen prominent at the front. Tables set with fine china. Everything beautiful and elegant. Simone stood in the bridal suite, wearing a simple white dress. Not a wedding dress. Just a nice white dress. She looked at herself in the mirror. This was it. The moment she'd been planning for months. Rhonda knocked and came in. Everyone's here. Derek's pacing nervously out front. Patricia is greeting guests. And yes, Gabriella showed up. Perfect. You ready for this? Simone turned from the mirror. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. Then let's do this. The ceremony was supposed to start at 3. At 2:55, Simone walked out. She could see the crowd. Derek's entire family. Her friends and colleagues. People from Derek's office, including Gabriella, sitting in the back trying to be inconspicuous. Derek stood at the front. When he saw her, he smiled. That smile that used to make her heart flutter. Now it just made her angry. She walked down the aisle alone. No music. Just her footsteps on the wooden floor. When she reached the front, Derek reached for her hand. She let him take it. You look beautiful, he whispered. Thank you, she said. The officiant started to speak, but Simone held up her hand. Actually, there's been a change of plans. She took the microphone from the surprised officiant. Thank you all for coming today. I know you thought you were here for a vow renewal, but that's not exactly accurate. Confusion rippled through the crowd. Derek's smile faltered. Derek, Mom, if you could both come stand up here with me, please. Patricia stood up from the front row, looking uncertain. Derek just stared at Simone. Please, Simone said firmly. Both of you. Now. They came forward. Patricia looked confused. Derek looked scared. He was starting to understand. For the past 8 months, Simone said clearly into the microphone, I've been living a lie. We all have. And today, I'm going to share the truth with all of you. Simone, what are you doing? Derek hissed. She ignored him and nodded to Rhonda, who was at the AV controls. The lights dimmed. The screen came to life. First, audio played. Patricia's voice crystal clear. Oh honey, she has absolutely no idea. The crowd gasped. Patricia went white. That stupid girl trusts you completely. More gasps. People turning to look at Patricia. The audio continued. Every awful word. Every cruel laugh. Every detail of how Patricia had been helping Derek hide his affair. Patricia tried to speak. This is out of context. Let's add some context then, Simone said. The screen changed. Bank statements appeared. Highlighted charges. A hotel room. Jewelry from Tiffany's. Restaurants. Victoria's Secret. A timeline showing dates and amounts. 8 months of lies, Simone narrated. $12,400 of our joint money spent on another woman. Money that was supposed to be for our future. For a house. For children. Derek tried to grab the microphone. Stop this right now. Simone stepped back. No. You don't get to silence me anymore. More images. Text messages between Derek and Gabriella. I love you more than I ever loved her. She's so boring. You deserve better. I can't wait until I'm free of her. The crowd was completely silent. Simone could see people looking at Derek with disgust. Looking at Patricia with shock. Then photos. Derek and Gabriella holding hands. Kissing. Entering hotels. The timestamps clearly visible. Tuesday nights. Thursday afternoons. Saturday mornings. While I was home alone, Simone said, thinking my husband was working late, he was with Gabriela Torres from his office. While I was calling my mother-in-law for advice, she was having lunch with my replacement. Gabriela stood up, face red, trying to leave. But Simone wasn't done. Gabriela, please stay. You're part of this too. Everyone should know that you've been bragging to your roommate about how easy it is to manipulate married men. About how much money you've gotten out of my husband. More audio played. Gabriela's voice, drunk and laughing, talking about Derek like he was a target. A wallet. Saying how stupid his wife must be. How she'd be the next Mrs. Harper soon enough. Gabriella ran out. Several people got up and followed her, angry. Derek's face was purple. How dare you? How dare I? Simone turned to him. How dare you? You promised me forever, Derek. You looked me in the eyes and lied for 8 months. You let your mother help you destroy our marriage. You spent our money on another woman. You made me feel crazy when I asked questions. You made me doubt myself. She turned to the crowd. But I'm not crazy. And I'm not stupid. I'm smart enough to have documented everything. I hired a private investigator. I secured my finances. I found a good lawyer. And I filed for divorce 3 days ago. More gasps. The papers will be served to Derek on Monday. And because of his financial misconduct, he'll be lucky to keep half of his own assets. The house is mine. The car is mine. Everything I brought into this marriage is mine. And I have enough evidence to prove that he wasted our marital assets, which means even more goes to me. She looked at Patricia. And you call me your daughter. You pretended to love me. You hugged me and gave me advice and invited me to family dinners. All while helping your son cheat. All while calling me stupid and boring behind my back. Patricia was crying now. Simone, please? No. You don't get to cry. You made your choice. You chose your son's affair over basic human decency. Simone turned back to Derek. Oh, and one more thing. Your company finished their investigation yesterday. They found that you've been using company resources for personal activities. That you failed to disclose a relationship with a coworker, which is against policy. That you've created a hostile work environment. They're suspending you without pay pending a full review. And Gabriella was fired this morning. Derek looked like he'd been punched. So congratulations, Derek. You lost your wife, your reputation, your money, and probably your job. All for someone who only wanted you for what you could give her. Simone smiled coldly. Was it worth it? She set down the microphone and walked off the stage. Rhonda met her at the side exit. Let's go, Simone said. They left through the back door. Behind them they could hear chaos. Shouting. Crying. Derek's siblings confronting him and Patricia. People demanding explanations. But Simone didn't look back. She got in her car and drove away from that venue, away from Derek, away from all of it. She drove to her new apartment. Her fresh start. She walked inside and closed the door. Then she sat down on her new couch and took a deep breath. It was done. She'd exposed them all. She'd told the truth. She'd taken back her power. And she'd done it without crying once. She pulled out her phone and texted Rhonda. Thank you for everything. Rhonda replied immediately. You were amazing. I'm so proud of you. Simone smiled. She was proud of herself too. The girl who'd stood outside Patricia's window 8 months ago wouldn't recognize her now. That girl was soft, trusting, naive. This woman was strong, strategic, unbreakable. Derek and Patricia had underestimated her. They thought she was too stupid to figure it out, too boring to fight back, too weak to hurt them. They were wrong about all of it. And now everyone knew. The next morning, Simone's phone exploded with messages. Texts from Derek's family. Calls from friends. Emails from people who'd been at the event. She ignored Derek's messages. Blocked his number. Blocked Patricia's too. But she read some of the others. Derek's sister Monica. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. You deserved so much better. Derek's brother, what they did was unforgivable. The whole family supports you. Derek's aunt, Patricia, should be ashamed. And Derek broke my heart. I always thought he was better than this. Friends from the event, you're the strongest woman I know. That took courage. You did the right thing. Even some of Derek's colleagues messaged her. Apparently word had spread fast about his suspension. We always thought something was off with him and Gabriella. Good for you for exposing it. He got what he deserved. Rhonda came over with coffee and bagels. You're famous. It's all over social media. What? Someone recorded part of your speech and posted it. It's going viral. Thousands of shares. Rhonda showed her phone. People are calling you a hero. Simone looked at the comments under the video. This is how you handle cheaters. She came prepared. She came with receipts. I want to be this strong when I grow up. The way she stayed calm and just destroyed them with facts. Icon behavior. Simone didn't know how to feel about being viral. But she supposed if the story was going to get out anyway, at least it was the truth. Her lawyer, Mr. Lewis, called Monday morning. Derek was served this morning. He's already trying to fight the divorce terms. Let him try. We have everything documented. That's what I told his lawyer. They know they can't win. His attorney actually suggested Derek might want to settle quickly to avoid more public embarrassment. How quickly? They suggested a meeting this week. The meeting happened Thursday. Simone sat across from Derek for the first time since the event. He looked terrible. His suit was wrinkled. He had bags under his eyes. His usually perfect hair was messy. Good. Simone, please, he started. Don't. She cut him off. We're here to discuss terms. Nothing else. His lawyer laid out their offer. Derek would keep his retirement account and his car. Simone would get the house, all joint savings, and a cash settlement of $50,000 for the documented financial misconduct. That's everything we agreed to, Mr. Lewis said. Plus the settlement amount. Derek signed the papers. His hand shook as he wrote his name. Simone signed without hesitation. It's done, Mr. Lewis said. Congratulations, Mrs. Harper. Or should I say Miss Harper? You'll be getting your maiden name back. Yes. Simone Mitchell again. Derek looked at her. Can we talk? Just for a minute? No. Please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Simone looked at her lawyer. He nodded. I'll step outside. When they were alone, Derek said, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything now, but I am. I messed up. I ruined everything. You did. I never meant to hurt you. Yes, you did. Every time you lied, you chose to hurt me. Every time you spent our money on her, you chose to hurt me. Every time your mother called me stupid and you laughed along, you chose to hurt me. I do love you. No, Derek. You don't. You never did. Not really. Because if you loved me, you couldn't have done any of this. I made a mistake. 8 months of choices isn't a mistake. It's a decision. You decided I wasn't enough. You decided Gabriella was better. You decided your mother's approval mattered more than your wife's trust. Simone stood up. And I decided I deserved better than someone who would do that to me. Is there any chance? No. There's no chance of anything. We're done. We'll never be friends. We'll never be anything. You're just someone I used to know. Someone who taught me to never trust blindly again. I still love you. I don't care. I don't love you anymore. I don't think I even like who you are. She walked to the door. Goodbye, Derek. She left him sitting there. She didn't look back. Over the next few weeks, Simone heard updates through mutual friends. Derek's company suspended him for 3 months without pay. He'd have to go through ethics training before he could return. His reputation at work was destroyed. Gabriella had moved out of town. Apparently the shame was too much. Her roommate Isabel posted about it online. She got what she deserved for being a homewrecker. Patricia was dealing with her own fallout. Derek's siblings weren't speaking to her. The church group she belonged to asked her to step down from the volunteer board. Her friends were giving her the cold shoulder. She tried to explain, tried to justify her actions, but no one wanted to hear it. Derek tried to move back in with Patricia, but she refused. Apparently, even she had limits. She was furious that he'd gotten caught, furious that her role was exposed, furious that her reputation was ruined. They were turning on each other, blaming each other, destroying what was left of their relationship. Simone felt nothing watching them fall apart. No satisfaction. No sadness. Nothing. She was too busy building her new life to care about their destruction. She moved completely into her new apartment. decorated it exactly how she wanted. Modern furniture, bright colors, plants everywhere. It was nothing like the house she'd shared with Derek. She threw a housewarming party, invited her real friends, the people who'd supported her. Rhonda brought champagne. To Simone, Rhonda toasted. The woman who came back from betrayal stronger than ever. Everyone raised their glasses. Simone looked around her new home at these people who truly cared about her, at this life she was building on her own terms. To new beginnings, she said. She'd survived. She'd fought back. She'd won. And now she was free. Free from lies. Free from betrayal. Free from people who didn't value her. She'd done it. She'd gotten her revenge. She'd exposed the truth. She'd protected herself legally and financially. And she'd done it all without compromising who she was. She wasn't bitter. She wasn't broken. She was better. And that was the best revenge of all. 6 months after the event, Simone was thriving. Her marketing firm had promoted her again. Vice president now. She was managing major accounts and bringing in record profits. Her boss called her a rising star. She'd taken up kickboxing. Something about punching things was very therapeutic. She was getting strong physically and mentally. She'd started traveling. First, a weekend trip to Miami with Rhonda. Then a week in Italy solo. She wandered through Rome, ate amazing food, visited museums. She felt alive in a way she hadn't in years. She joined a book club. Made new friends who knew nothing about Derek or the drama. They just knew her as Simone, the sharp, funny woman who always had good book recommendations. Her relationship with Derek's siblings stayed strong. Monica called regularly to check on her. Derek's brother invited her to his kid's birthday party. They'd made it clear that Derek's actions didn't reflect on her, and they still considered her family. Patricia, on the other hand, was still persona non grata. Simone had heard through Monica that Patricia had tried to apologize through a long letter. Monica had thrown it away without showing Simone. "You don't owe her forgiveness," Monica had said. "She made her choices." Simone agreed. She'd also started seeing a therapist. Dr. Richardson was helping her process the betrayal and rebuild her trust in herself and others. "You did everything right," Dr. Richardson said during one session. "You protected yourself. You got the truth out. You moved on. That takes incredible strength. I don't always feel strong. Strength isn't about never feeling hurt or angry. It's about feeling those things and choosing to move forward anyway. You're doing that." Simone was learning to be alone without being lonely, to enjoy her own company, to build a life that didn't revolve around someone else. One evening she ran into Derek at a grocery store. She was picking up vegetables when she heard his voice behind her. "Simone." She turned. He looked different, thinner, older somehow. His suit didn't fit as well. His confidence was gone. "Derek, how have you been?" "Good. You?" "I'm managing. Got my job back finally. Doing ethics consulting now instead of financial. Big step down, but it's something." He shifted awkwardly. "I'm living alone. Small apartment. Gabriella and I broke up." "I heard. We fought constantly after everything came out. She blamed me for ruining her life. I blamed her for..." He trailed off. "It doesn't matter." "No, it doesn't. You look really good. Happy." "I am happy. I'm glad. You deserve to be happy." He looked like he wanted to say more. "Simone, I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I need you to know I'm in therapy now. Working through my issues. Trying to understand why I did what I did." "That's good. For you. Mom is too." Therapy. She finally admitted that she was wrong. That she prioritized her own desires over what was right. "I'm glad she's getting help. She asks about you sometimes. She feels terrible about what she said. What she did. That's between her and her conscience. I don't think about her anymore." Derek nodded. "I understand. I just wanted you to know that we're both trying to be better people. Derek, I appreciate that you're working on yourself. I really do. But I don't need updates on your progress or your mother's redemption. That's your journey, not mine. I've moved on." "Right. Of course. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." "It's fine. Take care of yourself, Derek." She walked away. Put her vegetables in her cart. Moved to the next aisle. Her hands weren't shaking. Her heart wasn't racing. She felt nothing. Just a slight annoyance at the interruption to her shopping. That's when she knew she'd truly moved on. Derek was just a person she used to know. A chapter that was closed. She finished her shopping and went home to her apartment. She made herself a nice dinner. Put on some music. sat on her balcony with a glass of wine. Life was good. Quiet. Peaceful. Hers. She'd started dating a few months ago. Nothing serious. Just coffee dates and dinners. Getting to know people without pressure. Learning to trust her instincts again. One date with a guy named Trent had turned into a potential business partnership. He ran a consulting firm and wanted to work with her on a marketing initiative. They'd had several meetings and she was excited about the project. "I like working with you," Trent had said at their last meeting. "You're smart, direct, and you don't play games." "That's refreshing." Simone smiled. No, she didn't play games anymore. She'd learned to value honesty and respect above everything else. Work, friends, hobbies, solo travel, therapy, self-care. This was her life now. Full and rich and entirely under her control. She thought sometimes about the woman who'd stood outside Patricia's window, hearing those awful words. That woman had been destroyed in that moment. But from that destruction, this Simone had emerged. Stronger, wiser, more confident. She'd learned that betrayal didn't define her. That other people's actions weren't her fault. That she had the power to choose her own path. Derek had underestimated her. Patricia had underestimated her. Even Gabriella had underestimated her. They'd all thought she was weak, boring, forgettable. They were wrong. She was none of those things. She was exactly who she needed to be. And she'd proven it by not just surviving their betrayal but by refusing to let it break her spirit. That night, as she got ready for bed in her beautiful apartment that was all hers, Simone looked in the mirror. She saw a woman who'd fought for herself. Who'd stood up for herself. Who'd rebuilt her life from the ground up. She saw a survivor. She saw a success. She saw herself. And she liked what she saw. 1 year after the exposure, Simone sat in a conference room, negotiating the biggest deal of her career. The client was a major tech company looking to overhaul their entire marketing strategy. $6 million. 2-year contract. High profile. "Ms. Mitchell," the CEO said, "your proposal is impressive. But we need to know we can trust you to deliver results." Simone smiled confidently. "I've increased my company's client revenue by 40% this year. I've led 3 major campaigns that went viral. My team has won 2 industry awards in the past 6 months. I deliver results. It's what I do." She presented her strategy. Detailed. Organized. Brilliant if she did say so herself. The CEO and his team exchanged looks. Then he extended his hand. "We'd like to move forward with you." Simone shook his hand. "Excellent choice." After the meeting, her boss called her into his office. "That was a masterclass in negotiation," Robert said. "You've become one of our most valuable assets, Simone. I'm authorized to offer you a partnership position in the firm." Partner. The word hung in the air. Equity stake, profit sharing, your name on the door. "You've earned it." "I accept." Robert grinned. "I knew you would. Congratulations, partner." Simone left work that day feeling on top of the world. Partner before 35. Her own success. Built on her own talent and hard work. She stopped by her apartment to change before meeting Rhonda for a celebration dinner. As she walked to her door, she saw an envelope taped to it. Legal envelope. Her heart jumped for a second. Was Derek trying something? She opened it carefully. Inside was a court document. Derek had tried to challenge the divorce settlement. Claimed he'd been under emotional distress when he signed. Claimed he deserved more assets. Simone's jaw clenched. Even after everything, he was still trying to take from her. But there was more in the envelope. A note from Mr. Lewis. "Simone, Derek filed a challenge last week. Before you worry, read the attached document." She pulled out another paper. It was the final court ruling. Challenge dismissed with prejudice. Original settlement upheld in full. Petitioner, Derek Harper, is barred from any future challenges to this divorce decree. Simone read it again. Dismissed. Upheld. Barred from future challenges. She laughed. He tried one last time to manipulate the situation, and the judge had shut him down completely. Her phone rang. "Mr. Lewis, did you get the documents?" "Just read them." "How did this happen so fast?" Derek's lawyer tried to claim emotional distress. "But I sent the judge the evidence we'd held back. The video your investigator captured of Derek bragging to his friend about planning to challenge the settlement and get his money back. The judge called it premeditated fraud on the court, and dismissed it immediately. Derek actually got sanctioned for filing a frivolous motion." Simone smiled. "The video I told you to save for emergencies." "Exactly. You were right to hold on to it. Derek just proved he learned nothing from this whole experience." He never does. Well, he's learned now. The ruling is final. He can't touch you or your assets ever again. It's truly over. After they hung up, Simone sat on her couch holding the court documents. It was over. Really, finally over. Derek had tried one last manipulation, and she'd beaten him. Again. That evening, she met Rhonda at an upscale restaurant. "You look like you have news," Rhonda said. Simone told her about the partnership, about Derek's failed challenge, about the final court ruling. Rhonda raised her wine glass. "To you. To justice. To comebacks." They clinked glasses. "You know what the best part is?" Simone said. "I don't even feel angry about Derek trying to challenge the settlement. I just feel pity. He's still trying to win a game that's been over for a year, while I'm out here living my best life, becoming a partner, building a future. He's stuck in the past. That's because you moved on and he never did. He had Gabriella. She left him when the money dried up. Patricia had her reputation. She lost it. Derek had his career status. He lost that too. They both lost everything they valued because it was all built on lies and manipulation. And you? I lost the life I thought I had. But I gained myself. My self-respect. My independence. My success. Everything I have now, I built myself. No one can take that from me." Later that night, Simone got home and found more mail. An envelope from Patricia. Hand-addressed. She almost threw it away. But curiosity won. She opened it. Inside was a letter. Handwritten on nice stationery. "Dear Simone, I know I have no right to contact you. I know you probably won't even read this. But I need to try. I have been in therapy for the past year working through my mistakes. My therapist says I need to take accountability without expecting forgiveness. So here it is. I was wrong. Everything I did was wrong. Everything I said was cruel and inexcusable. I helped Derek destroy your marriage because I was selfish. I wanted him to have what I thought was better, without considering that you were a real person with real feelings. I called you names and mocked you and treated you terribly. I destroyed my relationship with my son in the process. He barely speaks to me now. My other children are disappointed in me. I lost friends. I lost respect in my community. I lost so much. But more importantly, I hurt you. I betrayed your trust. I violated the bond between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. I was supposed to protect our family. Instead, I helped tear it apart. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know that I am genuinely sorry. I am working every day to be a better person. To understand why I did what I did. To make sure I never do anything like that again. I hope you are happy and successful. I hope you found peace. You deserved so much better than what Derek and I gave you. I'm sorry. Patricia." Simone read the letter twice. It sounded sincere. Patricia had probably worked hard on it with her therapist. But Simone felt nothing. No anger. No satisfaction. No forgiveness either. Just nothing. Patricia's apology was for Patricia. To make herself feel better. To ease her guilt. Simone didn't need to be part of Patricia's healing journey. She didn't need to absolve Patricia or make her feel better. Patricia would have to live with what she'd done. That was her consequence. Simone folded the letter and put it in a drawer. Maybe someday she'd care enough to respond. But not today. Today she had better things to do. She pulled out her laptop and started planning her next business move. The tech company contract was just the beginning. She had bigger goals now. Her phone buzzed. A text from Trent, her business partner. "Heard about your partnership. Congratulations. Want to celebrate? Lunch next week to discuss our next project." Simone smiled and replied. "Sounds perfect. Tuesday work for you?" "It's a date." "Well, a business date. You know what I mean." She laughed. Trent was nice. Professional. Respectful. Maybe eventually something could develop there. Or maybe not. Either way, she was fine. She didn't need a relationship to be complete. She didn't need a man to validate her. She didn't need anyone's approval except her own. She was enough. All by herself. The doorbell rang. Delivery person with a package. She signed for it and brought it inside. It was from her company. She opened it. Inside was a plaque. Her new partner plaque with her name engraved in gold. Simone Mitchell, partner. She hung it on her wall, next to her degrees and awards. This was her life now. Her accomplishments. Her success. Her story. And what a story it was. She'd started as a betrayed wife, devastated and broken. She'd become a strategic fighter who'd exposed the truth. And now she was a successful businesswoman, partner in a major firm, living her dream life. Derek had lost everything. His wife. His reputation. His money. His career status. His relationship with his mother. His relationship with Gabriella. Patricia had lost her reputation, her relationships with her children, her social standing, her peace of mind. Gabriella had lost her job, her home, her sugar daddy, her dignity. And Simone? Simone had lost a cheating husband and a toxic mother-in-law. Best trade ever. She poured herself a glass of wine and stood on her balcony, looking out at the city lights. 1 year ago she'd stood on a stage and exposed Derek and Patricia to everyone they knew. She'd planned it perfectly, executed it flawlessly, and walked away without looking back. People still talked about it. The video still circulated occasionally. She'd become a symbol of standing up for yourself, of refusing to be a victim. She'd received dozens of messages from women who'd been in similar situations. Women who said her story inspired them to leave their own cheating partners, to stand up for themselves, to demand better. If her pain could help other people find strength, then something good had come from it. Simone raised her glass to the city. To me, she said quietly, for surviving, for thriving, for refusing to let betrayal define me. She drank her wine and smiled. Tomorrow she'd sign the tech company contract. Next week she'd meet with Trent about their new venture. Next month she was taking a trip to Paris solo. Her life was full of possibility, full of joy, full of success. And Derek, Patricia, and Gabriella? They were just people she used to know. Characters in a story she'd already finished writing. Her story now was about success, happiness, and living life on her own terms. And that story was just beginning. She went back inside, closed the balcony door, and started planning her tomorrow. Because that's what she did now. She planned. She succeeded. She thrived. The boring, stupid girl they'd mocked was gone forever. In her place stood Simone Mitchell. Partner. Success. Survivor. And she wasn't going anywhere but up.